Hello, hello. So I haven't, I feel a little nervous. It's been a long time. I haven't done a reading in a while, and I decided that I'm going to try and start doing some YouTube video readings again. Previously, I attempted to do readings based on a particular theme, but that's just not how I normally do my readings. So instead, I'm going to do timeless readings, and I'm going to do it in a way where I'm just going to say the messages that I get with whatever I intuitively feel for the decks at the time, and then I'm going to post the video with what the theme ended up being after I do the reading. It feels like it makes more sense to me. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Natasha. My username is Wisteria Darling. I like I said, I feel nervous. I haven't done this in a while. Please be patient with me. Typical readings, take what resonates with you, leave what doesn't, because the messages might be for you or someone else. But since I'm doing it in a particular way this time, these messages are meant for the people who click on it. So, that being said, let's get into it. I don't really know tarot, like the specifics, very well. I've been slowly learning over time, so I will interpret them on my own, like intuitively instead of with the specific messages. So please bear with me and be patient with me too. Thanks. All right, so I'm starting with this deck. I haven't used it that often. It's called Tarot of the Divine. You see that there. Let's shuffle it. Those who click on this video anytime comes, what are the messages for these people who click on this particular timeless video? What are the messages for them? We have Page of Wands. Immediately with the image, which I'll show you in just a moment, it makes me think, I'm hearing the word wild child. It's someone who loves to just be crazy and have fun. That isn't always what this particular card means, but I'm interpreting it by the image and what I see. I'm being told that you should go for it and go forward. I also am being told feel that it's not something you typically do on an average basis. It's very far out of how you typically behave or what you feel comfortable in the most. I have no idea what she's holding, but it makes me think of a flamethrower for some reason. I have no idea what that means. I'm also thinking of like welding or molding jewelry, and I'm very attracted to the ankle bracelet she's got down below. So maybe some of you are trying to make a very unique piece of jewelry where it's expressed in a very different way than typical jewelry. It's more like I'm hearing the word sense of humor, some kind of jewelry with humor on it, and I think that's a good goal. It's a creative side for you to go forward towards. I'm also very drawn to the bananas, so I think some of you might have low potassium, and I'm being told that it makes you feel, I don't know if this is a thing for potassium, but I'm being told that the low potassium is making you feel very fatigued, but you're trying to do so much all at once, almost to the point where you feel like you're burning out. And it's not that you can't do all of these at once, but it's because you're not getting those nutrients, so you feel a little like more lethargic than usual. Just take a look at your nutrition, what you've been eating, and go back through, maybe like write it down or something. And if you see there are elements of your meal that are missing, just add little bits in at a time, or just like top it off with some extra, or even like a small snack or dessert. Like a yogurt can be sweet, and you can put some bananas or something in it to help it be sweet. I'm also seeing her torch that she's holding, but I'm viewing it as a paintbrush. I'm definitely feeling like there's a lot of creative souls with this one particular card. They're trying to, I see it as like you're trying to go for a new endeavor where you want to express yourself more creatively, but you want to have fun doing it. I'm also thinking of like canvases with like blank canvases, or a cloth with like paint balloons, and throwing the paint balloons to get your aggression out and be creative while you do it. It feels like a stress relief through a creative way, which could be part of the like wild child like thing that I was vibing with in the very beginning of this card. Next card is the 10 of Coins. It's usually, I believe the 10 of Coins is usually a prosperous card. It shows longevity, happiness, and moving forward in life. I'm drawn to the little bamboo forest in the back. It makes me think of a retreat, or like just time out in nature, like taking a break and a breath. Just breathing, relaxing. There's a lot of children on this card, but I don't see it like, I think this is more based on how you feel prosperous and how you want your life to go, how you envision it, where you want to move towards. Excuse me. And I'm seeing that your view of what you want in your life is being stifled by other people's opinions in terms of what they think you should do, or what they disagree with your ideas. You should live your life the way you want to live it. It doesn't mean you have to argue or fight with anybody. Instead of doing that, just focus on where you want to go, one part at a time. You don't have to rush to the immediate ending. You feel very ready for that immediate ending because you just want to get rid of everything else that's in your way. But take steps towards it at a stable pace. Don't just throw everything out the window. There are supports that don't necessarily agree with you in terms of your vision, but they will follow through with you, and they'll keep going. They'll keep supporting you in their own way, even if it's not exactly how you want or envision it. It's what you'll decide to take because it's more than you expected than before. Oh. Okay, next card is the World. I promise I'll show all of you guys these cards in just a moment. I just find interpreting it easier first better. So, the World is the next card. It shows a couple together. I actually viewed it more like lovers. Maybe you have a passion, a strong passion towards something specific or a person, and you're ready for more. I see things going well. I see you both kind of super vibe with each other, and I see both sides, both for whoever is clicking on this reading. I see both the side of those who are watching this video where they're doing they're vibing with this person regardless if they want it to be serious or not. They're just enjoying the moment, and sometimes that's all you need. And I'm also seeing a prosperous relationship on the other side of those who are watching this video. They're like, to me it looks like dancing. I don't know if maybe dancing with a partner is something with you guys. I like a dancing competition or something. I'm very drawn to the foot in the image as well. She's like on her toes, and it makes me think of the word stepping on toes. So maybe some of you have like a relationship where you feel like you're stepping on other people's toes because they don't agree with the relationship. It makes me also think about like, it makes me think of like, for example, like international couples or like even different religions. Like it feels like there's just like a challenge between the two partners, and the family is trying to intervene while also trying to consider your feelings at the same time. I see that it'll take time to adjust, but I think it can be managed. I'm also drawn to these flowers. They're yellow flowers, lady slippers maybe. Those are usually pink, but that's the only word I know. I don't know what kind of flowers these are. But the hanging flowers, I'm thinking of the word wedding, so maybe an arbor with flowers, or the archway, whatever you call it, with hanging flowers on it. And I'm also seeing as another side random message that some of you might be going camping, and you're going to enjoy like nature and camping and stargazing, enjoying the view. Let's see. Any? Oh, that's interesting. So we have the Lovers in reverse that just fell out. Let me see what I want to play another card with it. And Two of Cups in reverse. Ah, this is interesting. Okay, so this intrigues me because I was just talking about Lovers a second ago, and now the card of Lovers played in reverse and the Two of Cups played in reverse. I felt the need to play it together though, and I'm interpreting based on the images, and I mean, I'll be frank, I see it as a gay couple. So maybe some of you are having a hard time, or maybe some of you feel very challenged because you haven't come to expressing that you are on the LGBTQ side to some others. I'm seeing religious families, and I'm seeing that you're, it feels like an internal fight, honestly. It feels like you're having a struggle inward, but you know how you feel towards a particular person. And it also feels like that person wants to like support you, but they also want more out of the relationship, and they want you to come forward to those who don't know yet, because they feel like they're being a secret, and it's making them feel less authentic in the relationship. So I think you can do this, but approach it maybe in a subtle manner. I know I'm not in, like, I have friends who are in this community personally. I'm a heterosexual, but I know that there's difficulties for some of you when it comes to such a situation. I'm seeing it's more like a sit down and laid back environment. You're gonna probably feel very anxious in that moment, so have something to fidget with. But I see the conversation being like a casual conversation, and I don't see it going sour, but I do see it being in a way where like lots of questions will be asked. So my advice for this particular situation is to maybe think of, I know for some of you, if you are anxious, this could be a horrible idea, but I personally think it's a good idea. So, but think of worst case scenario first and how you would approach it. And then don't focus on it though. Just think about it. Think of how you would react in that moment. And when you're ready, you're prepared for the worst, but it doesn't usually end up being that way. So think about how you would approach a situation. Think about what the worst case scenario could be, not that it is, what it could be. and then do like actually go through with talking, and it's often not as bad as most people think, or it's very different than how both sides thought it would be, or some thought it was very obvious. So I wish you good luck in that endeavor if you are in that particular situation. I'm going to play, I think, 1 or 2 more cards. Decided to play 1. The last one is Knight of Swords. And I'm being told that you should take a leap of faith, go forward and be brave. It's okay to be scared, just be courageous while you do it. So like, a lot of people think bravery means you're afraid of nothing, which is not true. A lot of people who are very brave have lots of fears, but they do it anyway to overcome them. So take a leap of faith, be brave, and move forward. You'll be happy you did it, because either way you'll get the answers you need. I don't know, these are like little decorations on the cards. I mean, on the card itself. And they're like little dangles, little trinkets hanging down. For some reason, it makes me think of Chinese New Year, probably just because of how it looks. Excuse me. But in my ears, I'm hearing like ringing in the new year, or something with ringing. Or maybe some of you hear ringing, like, forgot what it's called. It starts with a T. I'm so close, but I'm confusing it with different functions. But anyway, ringing might be something that's coming up. I'm also drawn to the horseshoe. I'm hearing that luck is on your side, and this time of year is a good, or whenever you're clicking on this video, this point in time is good for you to do new things that you probably never thought of doing before, or like new goals or new ambitions. Right now is a good time for you to go forward with it. I'm also drawing to the sword. That could be interpreted in many ways, but for some reason it's making me think of self-defense. Stand your ground. Do not feel like you have to become lesser or settle for anything less than what you deserve or want. There's no need for it. If you're in a situation where you feel like you're a little out of control and you can't move forward yet, then just give yourself some time and work through it slowly. But keep your focus on what you want. Don't view it as how you're stuck. View it instead, it's only temporary, and you know there's something better. So I often have to remind myself of this too with my own situations, because I'm not in an area I'd like to be, but I am trying to focus on what I want and where I'm going instead. So that helps me a lot, honestly. So I'm going to show you guys each of these cards real quick before I move on to some others, just so you can see them. All the images here. I know it's kind of a mix of messages, but I'm just interpreting what I heard and was told. All the kids. This one is the one that made me think of prosperity. This one was the world, but this is the one that I interpreted as lovers, and it looks like dancing to me. I'm being told as I'm holding this card, have faith, keep your faith, and don't lose it. Now these are the 2 cards I played together. This was the Lovers in reverse. Just so you can see, it's very pretty. And this is the 2 of Cups, which is what I associated with the LGBTQ community. I played those together. That was also in reverse, but just so you can see it better. because it definitely makes me think of partnerships. You know, maybe, you know, they often refer to it as partnerships, right? First, because of how unique your situation is. And I keep thinking of weddings or marriage. So maybe you guys are are testing the waters first, possibly, for all I know. And this was the last one for the tarot, Knight of Swords. Be brave, move on. You are more than just your thoughts. You are more than your anxieties. You are more than your mental stress. You are so much more. So keep moving forward. Think about how far you've come, how far you want to go, and think about how you've developed. So like, your past doesn't define you, but it has partaken, or it was a part of your life that helped create part of who you are, but it doesn't define you as a person. So it makes you realize that you are like, you know what you don't want, you know what you do want, you know how you feel about yourself and how you want others to feel about you as well. All right, I'm gonna play some angel cards. I felt drawn to do this. These are just little slips, little pieces with words, honestly, and I just feel like they're going to be words to keep in mind or acknowledge, or maybe I'm hearing affirmations. It's like a reminder for you. So that's what I'm going to play right now. I try being careful with this because it is such a mess to clean up when when I don't try to keep it in a consistent order. So let's see, what are your messages? What does Spirit want to remind you of? Let you know, what are their messages for you? Awakening. I think this might be posting backwards, but who knows? We'll see. Awakening is the first one. That makes me, you know, I'm honestly very surprised I'm getting these. It makes me think of that LGBTQ community. Maybe some of you need to, what's the phrase? Come out of the closet. I think that's what you guys still say. I'm sorry, I'm kind of old school and I'm not good at this. But I feel like this makes me feel like you're coming into your true self. You know what you like, even if it's not in this community that I, for some reason, keep getting the messages for. Some of you might have clicked this reading or on this video and are resonating with different things of it, but it makes me feel like you're coming into your true authentic self, and you no longer are settling for less. Like, you know what you want, you know what you deserve, and you deserve more. So keep that energy going. It's going to bring you exactly where you want to go. All right, what are some other messages and reminders for those who click on this video? Oh my God. Okay. That was a lot, but I guess we'll go with it. There's gonna be a lot of messages, so let me put these leftovers. Bottom of the deck says humor. And I mentioned humor in the beginning. So at the moment, coming to my mind is a funny uncle. It makes me think of someone who's passed away who had an uncle that had a lot of humor. He's coming through. He's funny. He has like fun energy. Like he felt like he was the person you went to and confided in when you needed, and he feels like he's the person who knew all your secrets, but he kept them between the two of you. And like, if I can feel it, he loves you so deeply, and he wants you to do your best in your own way. I'm getting overwhelming emotions of wanting to cry at the moment. Next message is gratitude. Gratitude. Synthesis. Synthesis. You know, I don't know if this is related, but I watched a video today related, or watched a video, I'm not Englishing well. I watched a video today correlating with synesthesia. So maybe some of you want to make or have something combined together with your synesthesia. That's going to be very profitable for you, is how I see this going. It makes me think of fun times and good times with family and friends as well. Next message is patience. It will take time to see the fruits of your labor. Just don't give up. It'll happen, but it'll take some time. It's not, you know, for those, like, for example, those who want to lose weight or get in shape in some way, often you don't see immediate results, which is what a lot of people think happens because they see like before and afters, but it takes time. It's not immediately. Like, it's subtle changes over time. These small things go a long ways. Next card is intention, which is kind of what I was sort of just talking about a second ago. So I'm being told you should set your intention. And in that card that I just showed you, it's an angel golfing, and there's a little flag where the hole is. So it's, you know, set an intention, have a goal, work towards those goals, but instead of only viewing the large picture, take that large picture and put pieces below it, like make it a puzzle. One step leads you to this goal, which leads you to a following goal. Make it a map. Set an intention map, and then you just follow the road to get there. I feel drawn to the bottom one. Resilience is the next card. It's find the focus. There we go. Resilience. That's the taking a leap of faith and be brave and follow through that I mentioned a second ago. I might be repeating myself a little bit. It just means the message is more emphasis if I do that. I'm also tend to be repetitive anyway. Grace. Grace. I'm being told this is both a name, and I was thinking of the quote that it's not me, I'm not graceful. So, you know, you'll have moments where you might get stressed out because you try something so strong and so hard and you feel like you failed. But if you fall down, just get back up. Just get back up and keep moving. Like, keep going. You know, it's things that our emotions stay in motion with Newton's laws. So if you keep moving forward, you'll see more progress as you keep going. If you, I'm being told, don't forget to take breaks. If you don't take breaks, spirit will make you. Spirit is how I refer to it. It may be however you refer to it, God, creator, universe, whatever it is for you. But for me, I will refer to them as spirit. And they're telling me, remember to take breaks or we will make you take a break. And let me tell you, that's not fun. So, I'm someone who also has a hard time with acknowledging how many things I actually do. I often struggle with feeling like I've done nothing, but I've done a lot of things, and then I'll suddenly have a leg injury, I'm trying to work out, and then I won't take a break between challenges at all, and they're like, nah, you got a pulled muscle now. And then, like, for example, I'll go to work, I'll come home, I'll study, I'll read a book, and I'll do something else. And then, like, 3 days later, they're like, nah, you got a head cold now because you're not taking a break. So remember to write in your schedule actively if you're someone who is an overworker or a workaholic or a studyaholic, whatever it may be. Physically write in your planner, journal, schedule, phone, whatever it is that you use, that this is your day to take a break. And what are you going to do to relax? Responsibility is the next one. This is funny because I feel like the planner thing that I was just talking about, I feel like falls under this. Be responsible for yourself. Remember to take breaks, know where you need one. You know, just stay focused on you, stay focused on what you want, but also stay focused in the present moment. Like, stay focused in the now as well. Don't just move past the things that you have with you in the current moment. Spontaneity. So maybe for some of you, this is a message that I feel like it's a new message out of everything that was just played. I didn't expect so many cards to fall out of this deck. Spontaneity makes me... the picture of the angel, okay, first of all, it makes me think of like those who need a break. Maybe you need to take a couple days off or something. Take a real break. It makes me think you're in burnout, you're overwhelmed, you're stressing out when you don't need to. And the for some of you, the angel in this card for spontaneity makes me think of LARPing. So I don't know if some of you like to go live action role playing. It makes me think of Renaissance fairs. Just something fun and different to do. Like, do something fun. Maybe be way out of your like typical what you consider fun or what you used to consider fun, and just try something entirely new, and you might have a great time. Whew, I feel like I had a mouthful just now. So I'm going to play this deck next. I have a feeling that maybe all these are backwards for the writing. If that's the case, then I'll try to see if I can flip the video before I post it. Otherwise, I apologize. I don't know why, but for some reason I'm thinking of those who struggle with dyslexia after I said that now. I'm also thinking of those who like to write, and I'm thinking about some of you who might feel like you have this dream of writing something very specific, but you're worried and anxious that it won't go well because you suffer or struggle with dyslexia. There are tons of great writers, artists, and you name it, songwriters who have dyslexia. There's people who are paid in field of like editing and stuff. You don't have to worry about such things. Just get your dreams in order and write what you want to write. And just be safe and make sure you look into things before you agree to terms or anything ahead of time. But I think you'll go very far with what you want to accomplish. I'm being told this is like a dream of yours, but I'm also being told not to like exaggerate this dream. I'm being told like it is successful in terms of it being created and how you want to just like accomplish it. It almost feels like it's a goal, kind of like a bucket list goal. You want to do this in your life and have it done, like, and you feel good about it, and you're like, oh, I feel great and I'm ready to move on to the next thing. It feels like a bucket list item, or like just some personal goal you want to accomplish. It's how I'm interpreting it. I do see that it will, like, you'll accomplish it. Don't be so the word panicky or panicking comes to mind, but that's not the word I wanted to use. Don't be so worried, basically. This deck I feel nervous to use often because I I don't always vibe with it, but I'm hoping it goes well. It's a Zodiac deck. First card is Libra. Her hair makes, actually her colors make me think of cotton candy on here. And Libra is often about balancing, hence the card with the scales. And you can see why it makes me think of cotton candy, the pink and the blue, which also makes me think of just having fun. I mean, you guys, I'm also seeing like these two little, I don't know what they are, goblins maybe. They're like very dark, very hard. They're like being used for the scales. And I see this as like, you need to balance work and life together, but you also need to find time for yourself to have fun. Like you need to figure the balance between all three. So like work, life, fun. And then like just you can see that she's like so much more colorful. Like that fun is like relaxing for you, and it shines, it makes you shine more, and when you relax, more things fall in place. So yeah, what else do I see in this card? Her face is like very serious looking to me. I don't know why I'm getting this message, but I'm thinking of lawyers. Maybe some of you are studying to be a lawyer, or you are a lawyer and you just happen to click on the video. I also see like her blush looks like tears to me. And I'm being told like the job is stressful. It's so stressful that your mental health is being challenged, which is probably why the message of needing fun comes through. You need to actively, I'm being told that a lot of you go to therapy. You are making step towards keeping your mental health in check through therapy, but you need more. You need something aside from just venting and getting it out or advice. You need something else that completes you, is what I'm hearing. Completes you, complements you, something that you need to do for you. So like, I don't want to say vacation. I feel like that's not the vibe I'm getting. It's more like a retreat, or like I'm hearing the word sabbatical, but I don't think a lot of you want to do that. Maybe some of you do. But you need to nurture like your inner passions flames. You know, some of you, I'm being told some of you went into this field because you wanted to, because it's a good career or your parents made you. But I'm also being told that you have other passions with it. You do like some parts of your job, and it's, or career, whatever it may be, you do like parts of it, but you also feel like there's a part of you missing. So there's something else you also want to do, and you need to find that or express it in some way. I think a lot of you were maybe artists, or I think some of you should just do like a paint and sip, or whatever they call them, with the wine and painting based on a brief given, or something along those lines. It's creative, it's fun, it's relaxing. You get to meet new people in a new atmosphere that you're not used to. I'm being told that's a direction you should go in. 7 stands out to me for some reason. You know, a lot of people say lucky number 7, but that's not the energy I'm getting. 7 days, maybe 7 as in a birthday. 7 times. 7th is the charm, or something like that. Next card is air. Next card is air. How do I feel about air? She has like a pattern on her chin, and it's in circles. It makes me think of a target. And the colors of the air and the wind give me like not a feeling of dread, but a feeling of a time of darkness, some difficulties that you've gone through, and you're trying to find the silver lining, but it's very difficult for you in that moment. I see dancing again. Maybe some of you are dancers, or some of you like to express yourself through dancing because it makes you feel more freeing. I'm also drawn to her body. Like I don't know, it makes me think about like when you're naked in the shower and relaxing. You think about all these things, but it's like you're washing it all away in the shower. Like you think about it, and then the water is just flowing through you, and you're like, oh, so much better now. And then you let it go after that, and you move on. That's what it makes me think of. Air is like swords. Swords is air, and it's related to thoughts. I see. It makes me think of sternness, like a tight fist. It's almost like your guard is up, but you want to see more, but you don't feel ready to step in that new area yet. You're not hesitating, but you're like a mountain. You're staying in place, and you're being really hard to move. So like, I don't know how to explain this well. You're being an observer right now, and you're kind of more curious, but you're not like fully open to it yet. So I think you're probably doing more research into something specific. I'm also being told, or not told, but I'm thinking of some of you want to go into, oh, this is very specific, like hairstyling, hair salon, and piercing and tattoo. I'm also being told that some of you want to make or open a business in that. Like you want it to be a building business with all those involved together. Like it's a combo, and you rent out spaces for all of the people who come to do that, piercing, tattoos, and like haircuts and stuff, maybe a barber. Like it's a mix of all things. It feels like it's an idea right now. It feels like you haven't made steps towards it. It's just an idea. But you're considering your options. You're considering like a plan, what you can do for it. And you're also considering like what the outcomes are and how far you have to go. One thing I'm being told, or like I'm seeing, is that you should also consider if you need employees, and consider that in part of your plan. If you're part of that message. Okay, one or two more cards maybe from this one. Woo! Hello. Next card is Scorpio. Just so you can see it. I heard the phrase piercing the veil because the Scorpio's stabbing into the ground. But the face is like looking at you. It's like, it makes me think of, like, how do I explain this? It's making me think of, is that so? Really? It makes me feel like you're catching someone in their BS. like you're doing what you need to do, and you already know what you're doing, and you've already done these things. That you're like the wise sage in this particular moment, and someone's like trying to either like give you advice or trying to help you move towards or do something specific, and you're like, because you already know how to do it. You've like already learned all these things, and it's like I don't want to say superiority complex. It's not that. It's more like you've already learned these and the other person is like just starting to learn. So like you don't want to like insult them by like telling them you already know, but you're also like, listen, I already know how to do this because I've already done it. So like a cocky attitude, but in like a healthy way. I don't really know how to explain it very well. I'm also very drawn to the number 8, but when I look at it, I think of the infinity symbol, and it's making me think of eternal loops in a way where like it's a repetitive motion, like it's constantly going on to the point where it's actually really annoying and irritating you, and it feels like you're testing your patience, and you're really testing your patience, and you're very close to like exploding. But just I understand those feelings. I've had to go through that myself a long time ago. So remembering it is like very frustrating. But and I'm very drawn to the Scorpio tail right now after saying that, which is the tail of poison. So don't be the toxic person, and don't let the toxic person get to you. Like, focus on what's better for you. Don't focus on like this person who's like trying to like eat at your brain. Like, don't that person's toxic to you. Let them go. Don't keep them in your life if they don't serve you in a way where it's equal or beneficial to you at all. Just let them go. I'm thinking of like coworkers and how you have to like deal with them because you're like at this place and you don't really feel like you're ready to move on or to a new place or a new career or ambition or whatever it may be. There's 2 solutions. One is to switch your schedule to a time where you aren't working together, and it'll feel better, and then you can relax a little more in that moment, and you can make plans where you can move forward to a new place. Or if you're in either a financially stable place to do so, or if you have like someone who's very supportive of you and what you need and talking to that person, you can, I suggest waiting till you have something else in line before quitting. But if you're in a place where you can do this, and you know you're in a very healthy area where they'll support you, as long as you don't take advantage of their kindness, make sure you keep going if that is you, and focus on finding a new place to go to work at. In the past, someone once told me there will always be at least one person you don't get along with at your work. And that actually affected me negatively over the years because that's what I expected after a while. Don't expect this. There are environments where you will get along with everyone. You may not have matching personalities, but you won't be like arguing or aggressive with anyone or like irritated by people. It just means you're different. Look for environments where it's okay to be different. All right, I'm going to play one more. Environments where you're being different. Or sorry, I got distracted because tomorrow's Valentine's Day for me in this moment of this video, but the video itself is timeless, I promise. And I got distracted because my friend found my little hidden Valentine that I left on her door. So, but anyway, back to what I was saying was, environments where you can feel accepted by being different is the type of environment you want because it's safe and secure for you and everyone else in it. Last card is Leo. And the message I got immediately when I played the card is it's all about you now. Focus on you. Focus on your needs, what you need. And stand in your truth. Be authentically you. I'm authentically me. I will always be authentically me. I see 5, which stands for change in the numerology. I'm also see rainbows in this card. Hopefully I can show you a little better. This here looks like rainbows to me. I see the lion's face half covered. I feel like right now you feel like you have a mask on and you're sick of it. So just take it off, and the rest of it's coming, and it's coming like you're being more of who you truly are now. You feel ready for more. You feel like you're in power of your life, like powerful now. You're ready to take this next step forward. I'm confident. I'm ready. I'm prosperous. I'm abundant. And I'm ready for new things. You know what you need? Make actions towards it. All right. Last deck I'm playing for this reading is the Moonology card Oracle deck. I personally like this deck a lot. I mean, I vibe with moon stuff anyway, but I vibe with it most because of the phrases on the bottom. I often interpret oracle cards like these as direct messages. If I have other things that come up, I will mention it. So let me get them out. I may or may not read from the book too. Sometimes there's additional messages that I may not interpret, and I think they're good advice. Excuse me for a moment. I must be talking a lot. Oh, all right. Oh, hello. Okay. I want to know which one is specific. Which card? This one. The end of a tough cycle approaches. This reminds me of what I mentioned for the LGBT community that I seem to be picking up in this reading. The end of a tough cycle approaches. For some reason I'm hearing bullying too. I'm being told you're moving away from that. Like I'm being told very literally you're moving away from that. It's not serving you any purpose. There's no reason for you to be experiencing this. You are ready to stand your ground and you're ready to move on. And this is your message to follow through. Tough. The end of a tough cycle approaches. Yeah. All right. It's not letting me get the next card yet. I feel like I will read from the book for this card. Full moon and Capricorn. Full moon often represent change. You're making active changes for you, and good for you. I think you should keep going. Whoop. That's Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn. There it is. All right. So the end of a tough cycle. The end of a tough cycle approaches. How hard are you willing to work for what you want? This card is reminding you that effort is required. Work issues may be about to come to a head when this card comes up. If you're wondering if you should stay in your job or leave, this card can be a strong sign to make an exit. Oh, I just mentioned to some of you who are like in a coworker field, and it's like really irritating and frustrating. And to either switch your schedule or basically to leave. This is like confirmation of that message. The end of a rough time is forecast, which is good news, of course. This card also asks you to consider how ambitious you are and whether you're prepared to pull out all the stops to make your professional dreams come true without being ruthless. Okay, that goes along with what I mentioned as well about like those who are like workaholics, like stay focused but also actively plan breaks. Like don't just follow through the whole time or you will be forced to take a break. So make sure you plan breaks for you as well. Like think about you, like not just in terms of your dreams where you want to go and what you want in your life, but also think about you, like nurture yourself in a way where like if you are like think of you in an outside perspective, like a third person perspective, and you're this person's friend, which is you. But think of it like you helping your friend out, giving them advice, what they need, or like even calling them out on things you know that they need, but they're ignoring it. Like think of you in that moment from an outside perspective. Because many people don't. Like some people just straight up need cuddles. Like cuddle a bear, make yourself feel better, or just like someone you feel close to, have a hug. Just, don't you obviously safe space for everyone. Don't force it amongst anybody if you don't think they'll be comfortable with it. But like if you're with a partner, for example, and you just need some comfort, go up and hug them, and they're most likely they're not going to push you away. They're just going to hug you and be like, hey, just do those little things that you need for you too. Let's see. With a love question, this card can be a call to face reality. Whatever situation you're asking about, making a plan will help. If your personal life is troubled, prioritize it more. And this is part of the message I said earlier in terms of that LGBTQ and like not like it hasn't been brought up yet. It's like it's hidden. It's like a secret still. This makes me think like this card was like 3 of the messages I ended up doing in this reading. In this one card alone with what I'm reading from the description, which is probably why it wanted me to read from the book before moving on to the next card. So the person or people or couple, maybe some of you are watching this together as a couple, partnerships, whatever it may be, this is like your confirmation to make a plan. I mentioned it might not be good for some because they're anxious, but I think it's a good idea even if you are anxious. Think of like worst case scenario and how you would approach that situation, but don't focus on it being that. Like think of how you would resolve the situation if it went there, but don't expect it to happen, and often you'll be surprised by the results. So this says, attune to the moon, release control, and trust the universe. Yeah, I get that. Maybe that was part of the message earlier where I was having a hard time interpreting it. It's like I couldn't explain how I felt in that moment. It was that guard up thing that I mentioned. Additional meanings of this card. Let me raise the card again so you can see it once more. Additional meanings of this card. A professional project may be ending now. Admit if you have been overly hard-headed or hard-nosed. Find a balance between your personal and private lives. I mentioned work-life balance and having fun. It's time to stop fearing the worst. This is a lot of like what I mentioned. The teaching of this card. The full moon in Capricorn has a very strong work ethic and energy. Okay, that was a lot of the working vibe I got. I also feel some of you are ambitious in terms of creation. And I got that like humor side. I feel like some of you have like, there's specific people you can confide in and they give you comfort with your emotions, feelings, and situations. Like not everybody knows your particular situation. However, you don't need to be afraid to bring it up more to others. And some of you are being encouraged by these people to mention it to others. Like it's they need to know, is the message I'm getting. The full moon Capricorn has a very strong work ethic and energy and will more than likely come up when you're asking a professional question. If your question is about another matter, it will serve as a much needed reminder to move through any feelings of hopelessness you may have been feeling about your situation, and this applies no matter when you draw the card. Making a plan is far better use of your time. I mentioned goals and not just focusing on the one huge vision, but focus, like, make it a puzzle, focus on pieces that lead you up to that. Like, a maze talks about all the complicated areas, so I don't really want to say a maze, but a puzzle makes sense in my brain. Like, each puzzle piece is a small goal that leads to the biggest goal, is how I view it. All right, let's play the next card. Well, that one went flying out. Another Leo card. There's 2 Leo Lion cards. Full moon in Leo. Actually, I think we're in full moon in Leo right now. That's interesting. Don't let pride get in your way. This is talking about pride. This makes me think back to both messages of, first one, I actually view it more as like the anxieties and fears you're feeling. I view that as part of the pride that this message is mentioning. Because it's you, like, you know who you are at this point, but you feel like you can't express it in the way that you want to express it. That's how it feels to me. And then I also feel the other message of pride with those who are struggling with work, and how, like, I mentioned, like, cocky, but in a good way. Like, you know your worth, and you feel like you're stuck, and you feel irritated because you're being bombarded by things that aren't serving you. Like, you don't need them. Like, it's not helping you in any beneficial way. So don't force yourself to be prideful in a way where you are forcing yourself to stay just because. I'm hearing the word longevity. I'm hearing that you're in probably a career or job that you've been in for a long time, so you have that work history in your resume because you've been there for years. I'm also hearing that you don't have much experience in other things, and that's one of the things that are making you prideful in a way where you don't want to let go or release that. You can. It's okay to try something new. And it's okay to start over is what I'm hearing. It's okay to start over. You don't have to fear that. Just make it part of a new goal in your life to try new things and to try new experiences, to find new things that you like to do or that you might enjoy having for work for over time. Like for me, I worked in restaurant fields for 10 years. Okay, I was actually over 10 years, for a decade, and it was like on and off near the end. And it wasn't just a restaurant, it was also a barista. I was also a cashier. I was also a screen printing thing, which was a new experience for me. And I tried it, and it was very interesting, but I felt reminded at that time of what I didn't like from my previous work. So it wasn't meant for me anymore. I didn't want that kind of environment, and I didn't want to feel stuck in that way anymore. And it took me some time. It wasn't immediate, and it was stressful for a couple months, a little bit. I had some money that I took like a 2-week vacation with my grandpa and my uncle, and we went up to our vacation, well, his vacation home at the time. It's like a family vacation. And I just chilled with my uncle and my grandpa for like a couple of weeks on my quitting money, which isn't technically a good idea because I'm basically having a free-for-all, but it's what my soul needed at the time, and I'm happy that I did it. But my point is I was in that field for years. However, it's affected my body in a negative way. I didn't, there were situations, because I don't want to cause bad vibes or anything. There were situations that no longer served me and what I wanted or needed. And my body is still affected even today by the struggles I've gone through for my physical limitation that was caused by it. And I no longer have any desire or interest in being any kind of food or career field at all. Like, at all. It is tough work. All right. It's tough work. And, you know, a lot of people who've never experienced that field don't understand it. They don't understand why it's hard work. And people who have know how hard it is, so they have higher expectations from others. For example, if you're a server, you know what it's like to go through all that. And if you go to another place, you have higher expectations of servers there because you were in the field yourself. However, someone who's never been in the field won't understand the struggles of it, you know, especially in the areas you might live in, like rural areas. They make bank in the summer, but they make diddly squat in the winter. So like everything that's earned in the summer has to be saved or portioned appropriately in order to survive the winter. It's not even comfortable living, it's surviving, which is a huge difference entirely. And then, excuse me, pardon me for a moment. And then, so I also did barista job work, which I didn't mind, and I got out early, which I liked. I basically my work careers, I learned about things I did and didn't like as I went on through the years. And I learned that I like to get out early. I also learned I'm not a morning person, but I try so hard to be. But I like getting out early, so I forced myself to get up early. And I went from what I knew to 2 jobs that I knew nothing about, and I was hired and I tried them. One I didn't stay at, and one didn't work out, but that's okay. I learned from it. So it's okay. Everything's a learning experience. You just have to view it that way. And then, but like during the time of being a screen printer person, I was actively trying to manifest, because I'm a full believer in law of attraction and manifestation. I was actively trying to manifest something different. You know, it was weird when I thought about it after getting hired at this new place after a while, because like there were tiny little things in my life that ended up adding up to me going there, which was very interesting when I started paying more attention to it. Anyway, I ended up going to where I currently work full-time now, and I love the job. It's the best place I've been at, in my personal opinion, and it's exactly what I like. It can occasionally be boring on the slow days, but I think that's normal for office work. You just have to find something you can do for the job. Thankfully, I had some extra stuff to do, so. But you know, there are also days where it's super busy. I think probably every job is like that. There's times where it's slow and there's times where it's super busy. There's also like your own days where you're like super ambitious, and then there's other days where you're just not having it that day. You're not in the mood. So, you know, it's the ebb and flow of life. It's the yin and the yang. Like it balances each other that way. But I feel like I lost track of what I was saying. Oh, don't let pride get in your way. So like for a long time, because I was in that field for over a decade, that I felt like I for a little while, I felt like I couldn't do anything different because I didn't have the experience. But instead of thinking that way, I was like, you know what? I was like, I don't care if I don't have the experience. I'm going to try anyway. And that's exactly what I did. And I got hired, and now I gained new experiences. Whether it was short or long, it didn't matter. I now have the experience in that field. So trust yourself, trust your guidance, trust your intuitions, trust your guides. I'm being told some of you have little like animal guides, or I'm thinking of figurines, and you like hyper focus on it, or like it's you see it, and it's like your message to like, this is correct, keep moving forward, like you're ready for new things, is the message I'm getting. Okay, maybe one or two more cards. A time for healing. A time for healing. I did mention, I mentioned some of you, it feels like the guard is up, you're struggling and like mental health stuff. A time for healing. I also felt like some of you want to cry. I'm thinking of bereavement times and grieving, and I feel like the sadness feels like it's in my throat, like between the heart and the throat chakra. Maybe your high heart chakra. It's I feel just like, I just feel like it's sadness, like just sadness. It's not like depression. It's not like, it's more like melancholy. You just feel sad, and you don't really know how to get out of it right now. It's okay to be sad. Just be sad in this moment if that's what you're feeling. Like, you don't have to force yourself to come out of these emotions, because you have them for a reason. So like, be authentic with yourself and embrace those emotions in that moment. And if you need to cry, let it out, and let those tears flow. Let it out, and let yourself heal this way. I'm hearing singing. Some of you like to sing, which makes you feel better. Songs that you feel very connected to. I'm also getting a very specific message. Some kind of loss of like, lost communication? No. Loss of one of your senses? It feels like a loss of a sense, maybe? I don't have this experience, so I don't really know if I'm interpreting correctly. Some kind of loss, but not like in a way. It's like it's like a personal loss of some sort. I don't know why I'm thinking of this, but I'm thinking of like fires. Some who've suffered from the fire. Their home, they lost a lot of things in their home. Oh, I feel it more now. I feel like this is very connected. So there's like a home fire or something, and you've lost a lot of valuable or like sentimental items, and that's like the deep and saddened part in your soul at this moment. It's not something you're able to let go of right now. Don't force yourself. Don't force yourself to let go of these emotions. Embrace those emotions first. Let yourself understand and comprehend what just happened, what you're going through, and be you in that moment. Like, be authentic to yourself. Like, be true to your feelings and your emotions. Don't just force yourself to get over it. This is huge. Like, this is huge. Don't pretend like everything's fine. It's not fine to you, and you're having a hard time with it. That's okay. Like, that's totally fine. Give yourself time to grieve your loss, regardless if it's like sentimental items you've lost, or even if it was family of some sort. But I feel like this is more towards like material possessions from what I'm interpreting. this feels like it's heavily, like it feels like heavy weights on your shoulders. Like it feels very heavy on you right now. I think just spend time in these feelings. You're not ready to move on yet. Don't force yourself to. Give yourself time to like really understand what happened, what went on. I'm being told to let yourself feel frustrated and angry. You don't have to blow up at others, but you can let yourself just be really irritated, excuse me, and angry about the situation. It's okay to do that. I'm being told to like tell you to still breathe, you know, have breathing, and let yourself cry if you need to. Let yourself, I was talking about singing earlier, but maybe you need to scream. Just scream out to nature, preferably not at night where you wake up all your neighbors. Do it some other time. So it's entirely okay. Like, it's okay to feel this way. It's okay to have your emotions. It's okay to not feel okay. Don't feel forced to get over something you're not ready to move on from yet. You have a very supportive group behind you. They're trying their best to comfort you in their own way, and you know that they are, but you're having a hard time with it because you're still frustrated, and you're forcing yourself to like say, I know everything's okay. We're safe. You know, I know we're safe. Like you're forcing yourself to say these things. Instead, say, thanks for comforting me. I'm still not okay, but I know that I'll eventually move on, or something along those lines. Like, acknowledge your feelings instead of ignoring them. Okay, let's see. What is our last message for this collective group who clicked on this video? Oh, I feel like a lot of these are random messages, but there's some. Oh, good. Prosperity lies ahead is the next card. I'm also going to read, I read the book for the first card. I'm going to read the book for the next 3 cards as well. But I didn't feel the need to do it till now. So, prosperity lies ahead. I mentioned that with the 10 of coins that I played in the beginning. I mentioned prosperity, but prosperity for you. What's your version of prosperity? How you want to live your life? It is your decision. Like, these are all your decisions. You're the one who can choose things for you. No one else can make these choices for you. And if they did, it's not you making it, and you need to start. I also feel the need to look at the bottom. Take time to breathe out. Oh, this is interesting. I mentioned breathing a couple times, but I've also actively noticed that during this reading, am going quite a few times, which is interesting to me that this card was on the bottom of the deck. All right, so take time to breathe out. And, I see fog, but the moon is so clear. It makes me think of, like, a cloudy mind, fog-minded. But, it feels like things are dispersing, where, like, things are becoming more clear for you now. And you're, like, you feel ready. Like, you feel ready for this, for some of you. Different messages for different people, of course. But take what resonates with you and leave the rest, as I said in the beginning. And I'm going to play this one too. Communication is key. That's definitely towards the group that I've mentioned a few times in terms of that LGBTQ community. I feel like there's 3 different groups in this particular reading. There's the LGBTQ couple and partnerships that haven't really communicated and, like, expressed themselves completely yet. And I feel like there's some who've suffered a loss and have their guard up very high, but they're also observing. That group, I have, like, a harder time interpreting, because it's like it's like a knot that needs time to unravel. It's very tight. take your time. Don't force yourself. Forcing yourself often does not lead to a better outcome. So take your time. And then also the group with that work environment situation, overworking, I'm going to call them situationships, and irritating environments, and then a tiny message of a person with expressing themselves creatively with frustration. Like their frustration is like being all bottled up inside. Find creative ways to let it out. All right. I'm going to read from the book now for this. A Time to Release Negativity. Well, let it out if you need to. Don't force yourself to move on if you're not ready. Be brave instead of fearful, and take time for you when you need it. All right, full moon in Leo was the second card. So let's read those. I'll grab the card as a reminder of what it looked like. This was the first one we did. The end of a tough cycle approaches. Next one was Don't Let Pride Get in Your Way, full moon in Leo. I'm going to read that now. I'm going to take a sip of a drink first because my mouth feels dry. Okay, so don't let pride get in your way, full moon in Leo. Have you been letting your pride become an obstacle? Is this a question you're asking based on your ego, or is it from the heart? Leo energy is all about the heart. Think of big-hearted king of the jungle, the lion. Its energy is magnificent, but when it's combined with the rush of the full moon, it can become over the top. This card may have come to you because you need to end a deadlock that has developed. Stagnation. More love and thoughts for the greater good. I said that funny. More love and thoughts for the greater good are the solution to this dilemma. If you've not been doing as you would be done by lately, this is the time to find balance between your own needs and the needs of people around you. I did mention that in the reading. This will help all of your relationships. Attune to the moon. Be magnificent. I said it's all about me. Without being plain too much. Additional meanings for this card. Self-esteem is good. Vanity is not. Everyone is equally important. That includes you. Like, focus on nourishing yourself as well. Creative urges should be followed. Work some magic. I mentioned a couple creative things. One was those of you who are very stressed and need to express yourself because of the frustration bottling up. Find creative ways to do that. I mentioned paint balloons and throwing them on a canvas. That's always fun. Find your inner child creative side. Do some finger painting, or for those of you who are more on the serious side of stuff that's more relaxing to you, do a sip and paint. I'm mentioning a lot of painting actually now that I think about it. So some of you might enjoy expressing yourself through painting. Because now that I'm actually thinking about it, I've said it a lot in this reading. All right, and last message of this card, which I find interesting. So I'm wondering if some of you, maybe you work with, or the coworker you work with who frustrates you, maybe you're friends with them, and that might be why the situation is difficult, possibly. Additional meaning for this card says a friendship may be ending now. Now, I want to clarify this message. So some of you might have a hard time thinking of letting a friendship go because that's your friend. You don't want to think of them negatively, right? Okay. Now, letting a friendship go doesn't always mean this. Sometimes when you are growing, you outgrow and out-heal other people. And when that happens, you've moved on in your life. And if, like for example, you've done a lot of self-healing, let's say you used to be really harsh on yourself, for example. But instead of doing that now you use it in a way to grow. Okay, now let's say that friend used to be in the same situation as you. They're really hard on themselves and they're always, like, for example, being negative, okay? And you've moved on, like, you're trying to watch what you say and how you say it, because words have meaning. And, there's tons of evidence about how this can affect you and things around you. There's the ice, water, and egg and apple methods that all, like, tested, like, negative words versus positive words. Words have meaning and they do have energies. So, like, you've moved on to the point where you stop doing that and you're trying to, like, actively be cautious of how you express yourself and say things. But your friends are, like, still, like, in that negative zone. And there's nothing against them. It just means their process is taking longer than yours was. So they're not at the level you are currently at now. And that doesn't mean you're, like, ignoring the friendship you had. It just means you're letting it go in a way where you're ready to move on to new things and have new connections. And you'll always be there for your friend because they mean something to you, but you don't vibe with them anymore. They're no longer a part of like that I'm going to call it an inner circle. They're no longer part of your inner circle where you vibe with them anymore because you're in a new vibration level. So, like, it's okay to let that friendship go. It doesn't mean you ignore them. It doesn't mean you say goodbye to them forever. It just means you're not on the same level anymore and you're ready to move to the next stage of your life, and you're going to need to feel it, like, feel brave. So, like, I don't know how to explain this. So, like, I am on a very different vibration level from my friends. They're very dear to me, but, like, one of them I just don't vibe with anymore, and it's really affecting me now to a point where I don't want to be around it in a way where it's affecting me negatively. Like, I'll always be here and I'll chat with them and they want to chat, and I'm always kind and friendly, of course, but like they're just not my people anymore. Like, they're not the group I'm in anymore. So, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like, there's people from all kinds of different places who love new friendships and uniqueness in the groups. That's perfectly normal. It's also perfectly normal to start vibing with different groups. Some people might have a hard time with it because they might have a victim mentality of it after a while, but that is something they have to heal on their own. Like, that's not you in any way. That's how they feel in that moment, and it's okay for them to feel that way. But that just means they need to find where they feel like they belong, because you no longer feel like you belong in that area, and they're definitely not in the same area as you. So you're already on two different levels. Like, they're on level 3 and you're on level 7. Like, those are very far apart. So keep that in mind. I feel like I explained that very poorly, but I hope my point gets across. Okay, and then let's see. The teaching for the full moon in Leo says, when the full moon comes into Leo, it can be a wonderfully bright time where people feel more confident to show the world their talents and assets. That's the upside of the lunation and of this card, no matter when you pull it. However, take note that the Leo full moon combination creates a sort of tension between your needs and the needs of people in your networks. I kind of just said that with that friendship thing. It's like your needs are different now compared to what it could have been before. And your friends might have matched your needs in the past, but now that you've healed and you're on a different level, you have new needs and they're still in the old needs. Leo full moon is a time to release pride. All right. Next card was Balsamic Moon, a time for healing. I'm pretty sure that was on this side. Maybe it wasn't. I thought it was. I swear I saw it. Oh, really? Maybe it's the beginning? Sorry, it's taking me a minute. I need Balsamic Moon. Where are you? There it is, Balsamic Moon. Now this is the card that I played that I felt a strong heaviness towards. And I mentioned like taking time to heal, don't force yourself if you're not ready, and like the loss of some sentimental material possessions. This is the card. The Balsamic Moon. The time for healing. A time for healing, Balsamic Moon. Pulling this card suggests that the past is in the past and a bright future is beckoning. However, before you take your next steps, make sure that both you and the situation feel healed. Oh, hey! This is not the time to paper over cracks or to simply pretend everything's okay. I mentioned that. I said don't pretend like everything's okay when you're not okay. Like it's okay to not be okay. I did mention that in the reading. I like when it's confirmation. Where was I? Oh, here it is. Okay. It is not the time to paper over cracks or to simply pretend that everything is okay. Rather, you still need a little more time to heal, to soothe both yourself and anyone else in need. Okay? Then remind yourself that anything is possible if you believe it. This is also a time to surrender and wait to hear guidance from the universe. Powerful insights can be had if you know that someone or something really isn't good for you. This card is a reminder to surrender. Start to work on your belief in your dreams so you're ready when the time comes. Attune to the moon. When one is healed, all are healed. That message makes me think of like, I mentioned a support group. It makes me think of a support group. Like they're feeling for you. And you know that, and you know they're trying their best, but you're just not ready to move on yet. Like you need your own healing, and your healing time is taking longer, and that's normal, and that's okay. Additional meanings. It's time to let go of the past. I can feel that's going to be very hard for you. I still strongly feel like that it's like some kind of sentimental material possession that you have, and you're going to have a very hard time letting it go. I'm hearing the word remains, and I'm also thinking of like dirt, like debris or dust or ashes or something. I feel like you want to save some of it, as like I'm hearing both a word of reminder and like it's that small little bit is gonna help you feel a little more at peace with yourself, even though it's not going to like heal you. It's going to be part of like your healing process. You're about to turn the corner. You need more time to heal. Think about how this situation would look if everyone were healed. I mentioned, maybe not for this card, but some point in time in the reading, I mentioned like viewing yourself as an outside perspective and like your advice to that person if they were your friend, or like the comfort they need and stuff like that. I think that's a message for some of the other collective who clicked on this video. And then the teaching of this card. Patience is required at the time of the balsamic moon. It's a time for self-care, as you slowly but surely prepare yourself for the new moon, which is just around the corner. No matter which point in the current moon cycle you have pulled this card, it's a reminder to go a little bit easy on yourself. The time to step into your creatrix power will come soon enough. Give yourself the time that you need. Don't force it, don't rush it. Take what you need. Take what you need. All right. Prosperity lies ahead. New moon in Taurus. Let's find you. Oh. There it is. Prosperity lies ahead. New moon in Taurus. That was like a confirmation card when I played it with the Ten of Pentacles card. Excuse me. Prosperity lies ahead. New moon in Taurus. This card will often come up when you're inquiring about a financial matter or when you're doubting your self-worth. Interesting. Okay. I feel like that's an additional message because I don't remember if I said anything in regards to that. Or maybe I did. I talked about you knowing what you want and deserve. So I suppose in its own way, that is part of the self-worth. The card suggests you can have what you want. I just said that. The card suggests you can have what you want, including material things, but you must believe in yourself. You must. This comes down to the laws of attraction. I mentioned laws of attraction, but I mentioned it in passing. Value yourself, and others will value you too. I understand this. I've struggled with this. This isn't easy. This takes time and practice. So value yourself, and others value you too, and you attract that when you do that as well. Like it becomes a it becomes like a new balance. It becomes like you become a magnet for the thing, like that exact thing that you want. So like, you know your self-worth, you know your value, and then you attract others who are like-minded, and they come join you in that group, basically. You can create abundance. Taurus is associated with luxurious Venus, and this card holds the new moon energies, so now is a good time to make a 12-month financial plan. Interesting. Okay, so it's an additional message for some of you. It wasn't part of my reading technically, but I did mention some weird creative humor thing that I didn't really elaborate on, but it was part of this reading. I feel like this is related to that. This card can also signal the start of a new relationship or of sexier times. If you've been wrestling with something for a long time, the new moon in sturdy Taurus is a sign not to give up just yet. If that message is for some of you, you know what it is. I don't feel the need to elaborate. Okay. Attune to the moon. Get or give a massage. Healthy body, healthy mind. Get or give a massage. Healthy body, healthy mind. Healthy body, healthy mind. Healthy mind, healthy life as well. You know, a lot of people don't acknowledge how important your mental health is. Mental health is extremely important along with your physical health. It's a balance of both. Okay, additional meanings for this card. You will soon be able to afford the things you're dreaming of. Getting clear on what you value most will help you find peace. This is emphasis. Getting clear on what you value most will help you find peace. Take some time out to pamper yourself. I mentioned actively taking breaks for some of you. Start a standing order to a savings account, no matter how small. Interesting. Okay, so some of you are getting like additional meanings of this card. You're getting some like financial advice. Start a 12-month plan. Start even a small savings plan, regardless of what it is. I'm thinking of I don't remember what they're called, but it's like a financial challenge, saving challenge, and it's like a little book with pockets, and it's like put $10 here, $20 here, $100 here, and you just put that money in, and you end up saving the amount over time. It's like week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and then you have like, I don't know, like for example, like $500 in a month because that's what you ended up saving. I'm seeing that very specifically. Try those saving challenges first and see how far you can get, and that's gonna help you feel more confident in your financial health and planning. The teaching. We often feel that it's somehow wrong to focus on our finances, but the truth is that money can make life far more comfortable from a physical point of view. I get that. Taurus knows this, and the new moon in Taurus is the time to work your magic to create the money you want so you can have the creature comforts you want. Remember, though, that someone else is still wishing for what you already have. I'm going to read that last sentence because it's it's like a very huge perspective, and this can be applied to so many things. It can be applied to your finances, your living situation, your body image, your romantic situation. This one phrase makes a huge difference in perspective. Remember, though, that someone else is still wishing for what you already have. Remember, though, that someone else is still wishing for what you already have. All right. Take time to breathe out. Disseminating moon. This was the bottom of the deck energy, and it was I was breathing out as I was doing this reading, which was very interesting when I played this and pulled it out, because that is something I did notice. Take time to breathe out. The intensity of the full moon is abated, and what are we left with? That's what this card is asking you. It suggests that the situation you're asking about has now peaked, and it's time for you to regroup and learn from your experiences rather than blindly forging ahead. I discussed in this reading about how my experiences no longer serve me, but I learned from them. Is the situation in this card, in terms of what it's explaining, is the same as what I spoke of. Have faith that what is happening for you, wait, sorry, I read that wrong. Have faith that what is happening is for the best. Try to accept the way things are now and give yourself and others time out to relax. Breathe. We can't be on all the time. If you feel you've hit an obstacle or even failed in some way, now's the time to reflect on how to do something differently next time. I'm being told of the phrase that, is that a phrase or is it just a theory? The doing the same thing over and over again does not produce new results. Be honest with yourself if you feel bad about your current situation, and then remind yourself that life goes in cycles. I mentioned ebb and flow of life. Okay? I am where I am, and it's okay. You know, if you're in a situation you don't particularly agree with or like, don't focus on what you're lacking or don't have. Focus on the positive aspects of it. For example, if you're not currently happy with your living situation, instead of focusing on all the things wrong with your situation, focus on how you're grateful for having shelter, you're grateful for the warmth, you're grateful for hot water and hygiene. Like, focus on the positive aspects of it until you move to where you're more comfortable and feel like you can be yourself in. Additional meanings of this card. You should know where you stand either now or very soon. That message feels specific for some of you. You will know who you are when you hear this. You need to take some time out for your own good. Those are for those workaholics that were mentioned. It's time for you to share your wisdom and experience with someone else. This makes me think of what I mentioned in the reading about some of you are comforted and like have someone you can go to talk about things. And they're telling you that it's time to tell others. Okay. And then this says, avoid falling into a slump. Okay. Stay focused on what you want. Don't view the lack. And then try your best to just keep moving forward. Don't ignore your feelings, but don't let them define you either. Excuse me. The teaching of this card. Where did I put that card? Oh, there it is. It's just so. The teaching of this card. The disseminating moon is the first moon phase after the explosion of energy that comes with the full moon. No matter when you pick this card, it suggests that you are at a more tranquil point in life, in the life cycle of whatever situation you're asking about. This is not the ideal time to start something new. Stay focused. The disseminating moon is the time to breathe out. Give yourself some time off and think about what has passed. Reflect. Take time to reflect. And last one, communication is key. It's a new moon in Gemini. There it is. Last card for this reading. Communication is key. New moon in Gemini. A successful relationship usually comes down to one thing: communication. And the new moon in Gemini card is all about the start of a new cycle for communicating with the person at the center of your question. Talking things through is the answer to whatever it is you're asking about. If you can't talk to that person, you can journal about it to yourself. That's always a good idea. Emails, text messages, and all other forms of communication will also help you now. If you need to do it that way in order to be more brave, then do it exactly that way. If the issue you're asking about concerns a sibling or neighbor, there is a new start coming, a time to wipe the slate clean and start over. So there's new beginnings in terms of relationships, whether that be familial, neighbors, friends. There's a new beginning for you happening here. The communication, you definitely have to communicate, but you're also like, it's good communication because you're getting your points, ideas, and thoughts across. It doesn't necessarily mean it will be either good or bad. It just means it's happening. It's like it's a neutral ground between both of you is how I feel about it. This card could also suggest you've been too frivolous lately and you need to get grounded again. But most importantly, drawing this card emphasizes the need to communicate. Write a list, tune to the moon. Write a list of all the people you love most and see if you're prioritizing them. Who have you not communicated or spoken to or even contacted in a while that you care about and haven't done in a while? Reach out to them. Additional meanings for this card. Time to tell someone how you feel. Don't be all in your head and not in your heart. Someone is flirting with you. Read more books. I feel like that last one is a little silly additional meaning, but if that's meant for some of you, you know who you are. The teaching of this card. Gemini is the sign of communication and socializing. The ideas and travel and the energy around it and around this card, no matter when you pull it, is speedy, gossipy, and flirtatious. The new moon in Gemini is a wonderful time to get out and socialize. Gemini loves to chat. One thing to be aware of is that this card can also indicate being mentally scattered. Daily meditations will help to unscramble crossed wires in your brains. That last message makes me think of like the anxiousness, and the energy I feel doesn't feel like meditation is a thing for you, but I do hear walking. Walking is one of those moments for you that help you think. And I mentioned showers earlier, so some of you become more relaxed from the shower as well. Like these things are mindful moments for you, and it makes you feel more relaxed, and that's like your own version of meditation. All right, well, that's the reading. I hope it resonated with you. If you click this video, it's only going to show up for those who need the messages at this particular time. It's a timeless reading. I'm kind of new to the YouTube community with this. I've tried a couple times before, but I wasn't consistent, and now I'm just trying something new because I like doing this and I need change myself. So I hope it resonated with all of you. You liked it. And I hope you received the messages you need. All right. I think I've said everything I needed to say for now. So thank you and goodbye. I'll see you next time.